Hi, my name is Alisha Pace, and I'm a part of Babes, Bosses, and Babies, a podcast for working moms, and I am an outlier.
And I'm Sierra, the other voice of the Working Mom podcast, Babes, Bosses, and Babies, and I am also an outlier.
Welcome to Outlier on Air with Ever Gonzalez, the show where we interview the founders, disruptors, and mavens of the world. Learn how grit, failure, and success are all a part of the entrepreneurial journey.
Hey everybody, welcome to Outlier on Air, the podcast where we interview founders, disruptors, and mavens. As always, I'm your host, Ever Gonzalez. On today's episode, we have Sierra Schubach and Alisha Pace of Babes, Bosses, and Babies. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We're really excited.
We're excited to have you for a couple different reasons. You guys are fellow podcasters, so we always love having podcasters on the show. We kind of share this bond, right? And also because you're one of the main reasons that we want you on here, because you're hustlers, right? I mean, you're working moms, you're full-time, you're working full-time, but then you also have this passion project, Babes, Bosses, and Babies, that I kind of want to get into this. So for all of the entrepreneurs that are listening, this is going to be great. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's get started with a brief kind of background on the both of you. Sierra, tell us a little bit about yourself. Work, married, not married, kids, where you live, all that good stuff.
Cool. So we both work for a company called Zurich's, and it's an education seminar company based in Salt Lake City, Utah. That was also number 43 on the Inc. 500 list last year.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Mic
I
drop.
am a mother to a 16-month-old boy, and I'm a single mom, actually. And professionally, I have a background in marketing and communications. And that's what I also do at my job here. We're both pretty new at podcasting, but we're really excited, and we hope that it brings some great things for us.
Awesome. Alisha.
So I also work for that same company, Zurich's, in Salt Lake City. I am a mom of 2 little girls and then a stepmom of 3. So I have a busy life for sure. And then my professional background is mostly in event planning and more recently in brand management. So other than that, my only kind of background in podcasting is being a fan. So this is really kind of a new venture for us.
Yeah, and you just got started. I mean, within the last 3 months or so? Maybe.
Yeah, we are on episode 5 right now. So we've been doing it for about 6 weeks. And it's going as well as we could hope, I guess.
Okay, I want to get into this here in just a sec, but before that, this question is for the two of you. You're working full time. You have a family. Your plates are full. Why Babes, Bosses, and Babies? Why podcasting? Why now?
Well, I guess so. This started out just as an idea. Like, we're constantly talking about what we do all day and then how we have to go home to our kids, and we just thought maybe there's other people like us, and so we thought it would be a good thing to talk about and to kind of just get out there. So we've been talking about it for over a year, and then one day Alisha and I just decided to dive into it and go for it, and we recorded episode 1, and then we just decided to commit. So yeah.
And now you're both in this for the long haul, or is this kind of a project that you're looking to do for a year or so? Or I mean, do you have ambitions for it to continue to go for as long as you can?
I mean, we would love for this to continue to go for as long as possible. I think overall the big goal is creating a community for working moms or just people in general to be able to talk about how hard it really can be, but also be proud of being a working mom. I think there's a lot of women in general get scrutinized for, pursuing their professional dreams. And, we want to make sure that they also have a place that they can feel like they're proud of that and say, I'm really excited about my career, and I'm also really in love with my babies. Like, you can have both things.
I like the fact that this is the podcast. That's what you talk about. I'm also a fan of podcasting, so I think that's how we stumbled upon the two of you. Just kind of, we listened to a random episode, and I liked the fact that the two of you were just having a conversation about life, and it sounded, that you weren't hiding anything. Sometimes it was messy, the kids falling down, getting bruises, that kind of stuff, and just the chaotic mess of life that we all have, right? You weren't painting the rosy picture, but you were still positive, and you again mentioned that obviously working all day. What do you hope this does for other working moms or just entrepreneurs in general? Right, we have so much on our plate, like we mentioned. Once we listen to your episodes, when we listen to your show, what's the feeling or the response that you want from your audience? Sierra, we'll start with you.
Well, I think that what we really want is for people, like we said, just to feel really open and like you have a friend or like another mom to talk to, and we want them to have a place to come. So we want to build that community. We want to open that conversation, and we want people to feel like they can be honest and like they can talk about, my kid fell down the stairs, and you're not going to get in trouble for it. That happens. It happens to everyone, and like, I don't know, the things we talk about are real and they're pretty unfiltered. And so we want, like, it's just really normal, and we want people to feel like they can be just normal.
At least you guys keep talking about building the community. What's that going to look like? Just a community of listeners, or are you going to have a physical community where people can, that are interested in the things that you're talking about, come and meet, or more online community? What is that going to look like?
I think we are hoping it'll turn into an online community of people that can blog on our website, as well as be discovered and recognized in their own right for their own entrepreneurial goals. So I think we hope for it to turn into an online community that, whether that begins on a Facebook, group, and then turns into a website that turns into a blog, I think is kind of the goal here. But like we said, this is new, and these are all just kind of our dreams and hopes.
So dreams and hopes, do you have anything in place or any a timeline of when that's going to come about?
I think we've set some thresholds we'd like to get followers wise, and then at that point we'll create the Facebook group and then the blog from there. But right now our focus has been on mainly just making sure the podcast is good and making sure that we are getting the listeners we really want and relating to the people that are just like us.
In the trenches, making it happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sierra, with what you're doing, right? You guys, the podcast, the working full time, the being young mothers, right? That can be difficult anywhere, and there comes, there's certain stereotypes and things like that we get no matter where you live. The fact that you're in northern Utah, does that make it extra difficult, or is there a stigma, or how do you feel about living your life the way you do there in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, there's definitely a stigma, and there's definitely a stereotype, and there's definitely, I'm sure there are lots of people in my same or similar situations, but it's not something that people are super open about, or they're not proud of, or it's just kind of a hush thing. And I think, I'm proud to be a mother. I'm proud of my child. And I think it's, again, just something we kind of want to create that community for. And so people can be open about the struggle, and that it's just okay to be you, and it's okay to be happy about the way that you're living your life.
I definitely can't say how it used to be, as, just becoming a new mom recently. But for me, I know I feel some pressure about having my kids in daycare.
Really?
That's always...
Even now, huh?
Oh, yeah. Just the fact that they're in daycare at all sometimes gets looked down upon. Or the fact that I have to travel for work. People are always like almost disgusted with me when they're like, oh, you spend that much time away from your kids. But I have a really awesome partner who does just as much for the kids as I do. So for me, it works really well, and I'm proud of my career, and I'm really proud of my kids as well.
Sierra, what do you think?
I would say that we've come a long way. Like, it's definitely not as, I don't know, strange to be a working mom, but I do know, like, in a lot of my friends who are moms are stay-at-home moms, and they have a completely different life than I do. But that's something that they have always wanted, and it's something that, like, they talk about when you're little, and it's like, I definitely want to be a fantastic mom, but I also want to be more.
Sure. Are the both of you working because you want to be working, or just because of life circumstances that are pushing you maybe more that direction?
Well, I have chosen to work.
Uh-huh.
I originally always thought I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I had a really hard time staying at home full-time with my daughter, my firstborn. And I decided, like, I needed a career. I needed something else. I was super proud of the mom I was, but I also wasn't happy on a personal level, and decided to go back to work. At this point, it is something my family needs, is my income, but originally that definitely was not the plan for me.
Sierra?
Sierra's single, so naturally she needs to work.
So it's a little bit different story for you, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Like, in my life plan, I thought, yeah, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be married with a husband and kids and all that. But as life turned out, I am a single mom. And so this is like, I definitely need to work. But I enjoy working. I enjoy having adult interactions. I actually work from home 1 day a week and have my son with me. And
Nice.
After that day, it's like, it's so much just to spend time all day with a child. Like, I honestly am like, how do stay-at-home moms do it? Because, like, they must have a really high threshold.
Yeah. I think, and I don't want this to come across as like we're not appreciative of those moms who do decide to stay at home. I also don't want to be looked down upon because I chose not to do that.
Right.
Sure. No, I completely understand and see it. Like I mentioned, my wife teaches part-time here at the university, and luckily we're in a position where I can stay home and I'm with the kids, and a lot of the work that I do is from home, and it's great. And sometimes I am more tired, and you know, it's more mentally and emotionally exhausting being with the children, which I love and I have a great time with, than it is dealing with my normal, regular entrepreneurship type of stuff. So no, I think either way, I think it's congratulations to the two of you for the kind of work that you do, and still being able to be the wonderful moms that you are. Now let's talk about the nitty gritty here. As entrepreneurs, we're busy. We're doing things. We're always thinking about the next project, the next thing, the next client we need to talk to, all that good stuff. And so our lives are messy and busy and all that good stuff by themselves, just being entrepreneurs. On top of that, you're moms. How do you balance both? Right? I mean, we talked about daycare and all that good stuff, but how do you keep it all together? Right? It's difficult no matter who you are. How do the two of you do it? Are there some productivity hacks? Are there, time management hacks? What do you guys do? Sierra, we'll start with you.
Well, no, there isn't, because I feel like as a parent, it's like I'm always feel like I'm losing my mind. So I can't really keep a lot of things straight. But one thing that has helped us is making commitments, making milestones, writing them down, committing to an episode every week, and making that time to record. So we have decided that time is once our children are asleep. Mm-hmm. And luckily we have well-behaved children that allow us to step away, or allow Alisha to step away to my house.
Yes.
And then we record. So I think just writing things down, making like a date or a goal is something that's helped us a lot. And just doing something even when you don't know if anybody's going to like it. Just doing it for yourself.
Yeah. And for me, it's about time management. I find I have far more time than I would think I do. Mm-hmm. So I have stopped watching TV. Is kind of what I decided when we took on this project. I decided, well, what can I give up? And that's kind of the place I was wasting the most time. And so I decided I'm not going to watch TV. Instead, I'm going to prepare for the podcast and record the podcast.
And how is it coming along so far? Not necessarily the podcast, just this new commitment to do it once a week. I mean, is it still difficult? Has it gotten easier for you, the two of you?
Sometimes it's hard to get together, but the thing that's really cool is once we do it, it just like amps us up again. So every week we get renewed to get excited to talk about something new. And that's what it is for me anyways. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't have time. I don't want to, I'm too tired. But the second I get it done, I'm like, that was so cool. That was so great.
And it also turns into kind of our social life.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, we don't have much of a social life. Uh-huh. And so it's turned into like I get to hang out with one of my best friends and talk about stimulating things or funny things that have happened to us throughout the week. And I kind of feel refreshed just having done that. So even if that's all it accomplishes for us, we feel like we're winning in some way.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. We have like 366 episodes or something like that. And so some of the entrepreneurs that we have are single working mothers. And some of the themes that we hear over and over again is because they're able to kind of step back and focus on creative things or things at work or just being with other adults away from the children, it makes them better mothers, they say, because they get that I don't know, that time for themselves to kind of keep it together, whatever that is, right? Whether it's drawing or selling or just hanging out, they're able to kind of feel whole. Is that your experience?
Absolutely. I think that's a perfect way to put it is when I was at home, staying at home, being a stay-at-home mom, I was less engaged in the moments I should have been engaged in because I didn't feel whole. I didn't feel like I had stimulation outside of the home. And so now those moments that I get with my children, I cherish them and I realize that I have those few hours at night on work nights are precious. So I make sure that time is theirs. And then once they're asleep, it's game time for the rest of it.
Nice. This doesn't have to necessarily be about motherhood or entrepreneurship. Just in general, you as individuals, and we'll start with you, Sierra. Who is your biggest influence? What it could be a person or a thing, a mission. What influences you the most right now and keeps you kind of motivated or going?
I would say, well, definitely my son. So I'm motivating myself kind of like I want to be the best person and that he can grow up with and, hopefully learn from. And I want to be bright and happy and all these things. And so I feel like by doing the things that I want and by accomplishing my dreams, that makes a light shine out of me that I think will help him.
Yeah, he'll want to emulate.
Yeah, he'll emulate like what I am becoming and who I am. And I know that through even just this project, I have just like turned on a whole new part of myself that has just been making me just see a new light in things. And I mean, I follow a ton of inspiring people online and read all these books, but at the end of the day, I want to be the best me I can be for my child.
I like that. Alisha, what do you think?
I think what keeps me going is I have two daughters, so I want them to feel excited and proud to have dreams and hopes and also jump into the dream and hope of motherhood. So I want them to look to me as, hopefully an inspiration of theirs. And then I just want to build something that's my own. I love my current job very much, but I also would love to be creating a business that is mine, that I have full control over one day.
So let's go back to your two daughters. You know, they grow up a little bit. They're, I don't know, pick an age, 25 or so, ready to start a family, but still not ready to, or start a family and continue to do what you guys are doing both. What would be that one piece of advice that you give them? And this is for both of you, Sierra. You can jump in there too.
Yeah, I would say the one piece of advice would be to always listen to their own hearts and don't let the naysayers continue to bring them down. And if they do decide they want to be stay-at-home moms, that is also just as special. But to decide what they want to do because they want to do it, not because anybody else thinks they should do something.
I agree with that. I want my child or future children to do what they want to do because it makes them happy, and to not let anything hold them back. I know there's been so many instances in my life where I'm like, nope, too scared because of this or that. And I wish somebody would have pushed me and said, is that what you want? So stop what you're doing and go do that.
You know, I like that, right? It's going to be different for every kid, right? So following their heart and doing what they think is best. That's great advice. I mean, not just for children, but for entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah.
Right? We every I don't care who you're talking to. People always had naysayers, whether they were just starting or whether they're in the middle of it, whatever it is. There are those that are always trying to tell you it's wrong or tear you down or all that stuff. But as long as you kind of follow your heart and work hard, we can accomplish most things. That's great advice. Thank you very much. I'm trying to get behind this the podcast, right? Babes, Bosses, and Babies. You talked about trying to build an online community. Obviously, your stories are inspirational. The conversations that you have are very natural, and anybody listening can kind of get stuff out of it. But I mean, in 3 years, what is that truly going to look like? I know you mentioned the online community, but exactly what is that going to be? Are you guys still going to be working? Are you guys going to quit that and focus on this? I mean, when we interview you guys again in 3 years, what are we going to be talking about?
I think a goal is to not be working in corporate America anymore, for sure, and be doing something hopefully together full time. But right now, it's so new that we're so focused on making the podcast as good as it can be, so that we do have a following that we can ask and it'll be more clear on what the next steps are, because we can ask them, what do they want from us next? And I think that'll help us guide us into what kind of business we really want to build this into. And
with that community, we're hoping that can be turn into something like maybe creating a curriculum or a course, or something where people can have a takeaway, or like you said, like a in-person meetups and things that people want from us.
Maybe business coaching.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have a lot of awesome ideas, so we're really hoping they'll come to fruition within those next few years.
I love it. We Outlier has been around for about 3.5 years, and you're right. When we first started the podcast, we knew we wanted to kind of have this community of outliers, these entrepreneurs that kind of we do whatever we want whenever we want type of a deal. But for the first year and a half, we were building this, but we didn't know what we had. We didn't know what we were going to do with it. So it took us about a year and a half to figure out exactly what we wanted. So you guys have plenty of time, and obviously you're still doing other things that you don't need to figure it out today or tomorrow. And like I think it was Alisha, you mentioned that you're going to listen to your audience, see what they want. That's great. Go and do whatever your audience needs, right? I mean, that's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean,
good advice.
At the end of all this, Alisha, we'll start with you. How do you want to be remembered, right? Motherhood, entrepreneurship, human, whatever. At the end of all of this, what are we going to be saying about you?
I hope you'll be saying that I didn't give up on my dreams, no matter if they work or not, and that I always had my children in mind, even during my entrepreneurial, entrepreneurial, my business journey.
Sure.
What about you, Sierra?
Let's see. I would like people to remember me as the funny one, hopefully.
No, Nick. I'm the funny one.
And somebody who just like wanted to go on this journey, and they saw an opportunity and they just went for it, even without a ton of experience or background or knowing an outcome, just being able to see something and then just going for it because that's what I wanted to do. And to know that even if I hope that we are very successful, but even if this is not something that worked out in the end, that it still was amazing to listen to these stories and hear this side of the world.
Well, congratulations. You guys are certainly well on your way. I love, I listened to a lot of podcasts, and from that moment I listened to your first one, there was some special about it. I don't know. It was real. Like I mentioned before, it was, you guys weren't trying to be anybody that you're not. You were just like, this is life. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And so obviously the future is bright for the two of you. Now, as we try to start to wrap this up, for those that are listening, right, our audience that wants to get to know you a little bit more, or listen to the podcast, or just follow you online, where can we find you online?
You can find us on Instagram at Babes Bosses Babies, no and then you can follow us on iTunes and SoundCloud. That's where you can listen, and it's just Babes, Bosses, and Babies. And then we're both individually online.
Yeah, doing our own individual things as well.
Yeah.
My Instagram handle is at It's Leash Marie, Leesh Marie.
And I'm at Siance, which is SIAYONCE.
Not to be confused with Beyonce.
Nice. So Outliers, you can go to outliermagazine.co. That's outliermagazine.co. First of all, subscribe to our podcast, rate, review it. But there we're going to have links to the website, Sierra and Alicia's social media accounts. Feel free to reach out to them, connect with them. Obviously, I think that they're onto something that's going to be pretty special, and especially for young mothers that are entrepreneurs. Again, ladies, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, for your words of wisdom, for just being real and open about who you are and what you're doing. We are definitely going to be cheering for you from the sidelines. We hope you have much success. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Outliers, we'll talk to you tomorrow.